guys, welcome to Choose Your Own Path. Today we are building a tower, another kind of a tower system, which is going to go around and up. It's going to have stairs coming around here. So first thing is we just took a piece of styrofoam. We kind of guessed how big we want it to be. Until I get a prox on, wire cutter, everything gets pretty choppy, which is okay in the sense of that, because all we're going to do is we're going to take our X-Acto knife and we're going to cut edges to it anyway. You need a pretty sharp X-Acto knife to do this anyway. And you just want to cut the sides, the top. That's how big this one is. Kind of like make small cuts to give it an angle. To make it look old and rough, sort of like that, where it comes down. All right, so I'll do this, and then all right. So once you got all the sides cut out, like, oops, I'll show you this way. We're just gonna fix that up with the sandpaper block. So then I want to create stairs. So what I'm using is a hot burner, and I'm just giving that stair kind of a look. So by just going in and taking off little pieces. Now, using this is kind of not good because of the smoke or the burning. So try not to breathe it in. All right. What we're doing is trying to level off, making stairs. And what we'll do is we'll just try to get a little bit under to make it look like there's some separation. What you'll have is a stair going up, and this is a bigger piece. Oops, I should have cut that in while I was at it. All I want to do, and I'm not going to dig this one out, I'm just going to make a sort of a path. Alright, so once you sand it down, your piece, that's got to look old, so it's good. You want to make, this is not going to have squares in it like a room. We're just going to take our styrofoam, our foil paper, and we're just going to give it some really hard texture. Now you can see the difference the texture is making compared to it being normal. You just want to get in there and roll out our foil. Here we'll do the stairs also, or the steps, so we get some texture to it. Alright, so once you got it all textured up, we're going to start off by putting a wash on it. Now, like in my last video, we used whatever color we want. We're just going to use the brown, and this is just going to help make it more solid. Okay, it's going to bring out the texturing, and it's going to dry it so that we don't have to really worry too much about it. This will also add color to our terrain, is what we want it to do. Okay, we'll get back. Once it's dried, we want to make a door. So these are roughly, we're going to say about 2.5 inches long, because that's how big we want the door. You don't want them to look natural, so use your foil paper, use your X-Acto knife, kind of chop them up, because we're talking old ruins, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to, first of all, we're just going to attach them together. Okay. So even them up. Make sure they got a good bond. Do the licking of the finger to spread it. same on the other side. Get a good bond. I mentioned before, when you put water on hot glue, you could spread it a lot easier, and it doesn't stick to your fingers as bad. So just make sure that you have a good bond, and that's that. So the next step is to put it on to your play area. But if you really want to make sure the step is done so you don't have to go over and do it afterwards, I would recommend taking your wash and doing it right away. Okay, probably the simplest thing to do. So we'll give this a wash, let it dry, we'll stick it on there. All right, once you got it all dried, simple trick, take some toothpicks, cut them small, insert them in hot glue. This way, when you go to put them on your table or your project, you will have a solid fit. An easier fit, because what it is you dry fit it first, and then you find where you put your holes, and you simply push it down, and the toothpicks will allow it to stay and not fall apart. Again, we're going to wipe down the glue with a little bit of good old H2O spit until that is in. You want it to be solid, you don't want it to fall off, okay? You really want to make sure it's on there and it's solid. So with a little bit of pressure, you're good to go. Now your piece, and you have a doorway. All right. We're going to get back to you. All right, so we're going to start building our wall. So the first piece I took, and I cut it at an angle. Okay, so what I wanted to do is to make sure it fit on this side. So just with a little bit of hot glue on the back and the sides will allow that one piece to fit in there, so it looks like it's part of the building and it's easy to have on. So basically all we're going to do is build up our walls in with our hot glue, figuring out what kind of shape we want to get in here, keeping the sizes roughly the same. And just going on and on. We have a whole bunch of pieces cut, and all it is like a little bit of hot glue down, making sure that you have your sticks ready and forming an easy base. So we want sort of like a full half circle, not a full circle, on here. We don't need to have too much room on the outside of it, because we were not looking at it being a playable piece on the outside itself. So the first round, we'll do the first pieces with a round. Not worried about the gaps between, because you could always fill that up with stuff like rocks or whatever you want. It's totally up to you on how you can do that. Now we could have went and put our wash on all these bricks, but that would take a long time. Maybe a good way to do it is to do it beforehand. You could maybe figure out how to put them in there one at a time into your wash. If you want to paint them all, that's fine too. It's up to you. It's just a lot more work and stress. It's not that hard. It's not very difficult at all. So we're just going to build an area around. What we want to do is keep this so that we can see the outside of our piece. So we'll just give it a false wall here. Maybe a couple of pieces on top of each other, like so. And I'm not worried about the hot glue because that will all get covered eventually. And we will just kind of lift the piece up like this. Oops, with the piece at the bottom, we can get some glue on there, like so. And then we'll probably end our build roughly around here. Just enough space to get through. So what we want to do next is we want to stagger the pieces all over the place. Meaning you want to basically go in between each one. Alright? That gives it the look of a brick builder. And if you want, and we will want, is we will add a little brick here in between this one to give it that it's being formed. And again, you also want them to look like it's an old building, so a good thing is to have them kind of sideways, twisted. I'm thinking back in the day, they really didn't overly know what they're doing for builds. And we'll go from there. So we're just going to build this up and we'll be back. Alright guys, we're going to give you an update on what we did. So I didn't record it because I didn't have the time on it. So here it is. Here's the entrance. And what we did is we'll put some stairs here that went all the way up to the window, other stairs to the other window, and I made a pole for it. So basically I just took a piece of styrofoam and I took a sanding belt or sanding block and I rounded it off. So next is what we're going to do is we're just going to paint. So I added some Mod Podge, some white and black and gray to our paint, our palette. And what we're going to do is just paint it all up because we want to get rid of that styrofoam look, which is like a pink. So we're just going to lightly, or just paint it up, get all that color out. So I'll do this, and then when I get to the final stage, I'll get back to you. So it's all painted up. So the next step we're going to do is we're just going to add a whole bunch of, we're going to use this tacky glue, it's called. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to spread it all over the floor part. I'm just going to wipe it everywhere, level it out kind of thing. So it doesn't matter what this looks like. We just want it all over the place. All over the floor part. And you can use a bigger brush for this, would probably be better. Now this is tacky glue I'm using. Get it at the dollar store. It works really well. It sticks. It gets in there and it starts to harden up fast enough. Alright, so once you got it in there, you're going to take your sand and you're just going to spread that around everywhere. Adding all our sand to it. What you want to do is just give it a little bit of shape to get it in spots that hasn't been hit. And what that does is it gives it a brown base. Now it'll dry clear after, which is what you want. You want to get all the sand at least to stick to certain areas to build up the flooring. And that's it. And then we're just going to let that dry, and then we'll keep on adding other stuff to it. Alright guys, so here it is at the end of the video. I did not show the finishing process. I had too much stuff going on. It is what it is. So what we got is our entrance with our flooring, our stairwell going all the way up, looking out 2 windows, and we put a beam in. We just put a couple of characters. We got a spider with his eggs there, his treasure chest, and the Reaper going all the way around it. All we did was we hot glued at first some of this old branchy kind of stuff that we have. It's in there, so it's not falling out. Then when that dried, all I did was I took some Mod Podge with a little bit of water, mixed it up pretty good, and then I just wiped on top of it. What that does is it dries these pieces out so that they won't fall off. I mean, obviously if I took the characters out itself, there we go. Nothing falls off, everything stays, it's on there. The piece did not have a bottom piece. It's a large piece. It should not bow or flare unless it's left outside, I guess, or in the weather. Then yeah, it sits pretty well flat on the surface. It looks good. It has that real life feel of playing the game where the characters can be put in, monsters can be set anywhere they want, looking for whatever they're looking for, is their treasure. That's the adventure of it all. Characters do come in smaller pieces, which are 1 inch. This is a 2-inch base, so even if he was up here, he can still he could fit up there, not an issue. It would be better if it was a smaller base. Maybe in the future, what I'll be doing is I will be getting, well, I'll make the pieces at least a good 1.5 inches, so nothing would fall off. But as far as I know, the bases are smaller than this. Characters can sit on the stairs, do what they want. Everything's pretty level. The bottom, I made it so that it was tilted. The angles weren't the best for me. Again, beginner's build, all right? So one of the questions on this video before was, why do I use Mod Podge? Well, here you go. This is a piece, and it is pretty solid compared to a normal piece of styrofoam, which if I took a piece out of the trash, if I could find one that's big enough, either way, you could tell the difference. Look, I could just squeeze my finger in there, and it really goes through it. This one, hard, thicker, of course, don't get me wrong. It stiffens it up, all right? This piece just was useless. I just wanted to show that for reference of what it does. Dried on there pretty good. There's no really taking it apart unless you were to dig in it or cut it, then you'd ruin the piece like so. Otherwise, it's easy fix. Push it together, put some more paint on it with Mod Podge, it's together. Pieces are not made to be dug into, they're made to be played on. They're not made to be stabbed. Items are to be placed on where they want to go, and that's how it works. So, end of the video, we're talking, the set is done. It's built, so it's ready for sale. Again, got to find that right outlet for it, where I have the right people to buy this stuff. Either send it out, or if they live out in my area, it's easier for them to just come and pick it up, kind of thing. So, again, guys, if I can do it, you can do it, and choose your own path. Thanks for watching.